Hi there, and welcome to the Tuesday Call-In Show. I'm Angry Soccer Mom. Hi, Nails and Glitter. Welcome. And if you're new to the show, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel if you like what you see, and ring the bell and invite a friend. Tonight's show is the official Call-In Show. And you might be wondering, like, how do I get that number so I can call in? Well, it's a special number that you can call in, but you have to kind of have it already. So if you do want the number for next Tuesday's show, all you have to do is go to my Facebook page called Angry Soccer Mom and personal message me, and I will give you that number. You have to private message me because we've been trolled. So we're kind of being careful, and at some point I will have a system that works. Anton, hello. Thank you for being here. Today's the call-in show, and I'm very happy to have you. It might be a small show, but either way, I will be thrilled. Today's show is all about the Democratic primaries, and I want to know, who do you want to win? Who do you like? Who do you hate? Who do you think has a chance? And who do you think is going to help us get back our Democratic Republic? So just let me know. I have to message a friend that I promised I would warn to join. So hopefully I can do that really fast. I just remembered I promised I'd give him a buzz, and I hope he remembers. All right. And then I will get right to it. I've been warned. All right. So hopefully he'll jump on. I want the people who call in, try to stick to the topic if you can. And the topic is anything that you want to say about the Democratic primaries, what's going on with Trump, who can beat him, who can't, who has a chance, what your thoughts are. Open to anybody. If you have topics that you want to do, if you want to do some topics like that are different for the next show, just personal message me and let me know what topics you want to do, and I'll definitely consider anything you want to talk about. Always open to topics, but tonight we're going to try to stick to the Democratic primary, Trump, and how we're going to get this nation back together. I know a lot of people are really hurting on so many levels, but right now I think we're kind of running out of chances to pull it together. So I want to make a quick announcement. I'll take some comments and we'll go from there. One quick announcement. Tomorrow's live show starts at 9 p.m. It is a discussion about any topic surrounding systemic racism, anti-bigotry, and inequality in America. And as we all know, that's pretty much everything right now. So I have a few prepared topics for tomorrow already, if you can believe that. One of which is a video I just did on a really scary thing that's happening. The census scam. The GOP, the Republicans, are pulling unbelievable BS. Just, it's terrifying, really. There's no bar low enough, it would seem, to have some sort of boundary for them. So I'm really sad about that, but there's a census scam going on, and I get the feeling it's going to spread across the country, and also in some of the poorest areas. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. Also wanted to talk about the Trump administration is destroying evidence in the archives of ICE, things that ICE has done. They are, as far as I can tell from the articles I've read, they are picking and choosing what to destroy, and a lot of it is evidence of wrongdoings. Because as you know, along the border, there's been horrific crimes against humanity. 7 children have died. Whereas previously, the previous 10 years before Trump, no children died in custody. It was unheard of. There literally wasn't a child that died in custody. So this is really scary stuff. So I truly believe our Democratic Republic is in jeopardy. It might be too late. I don't know what you guys think, but please come tomorrow. Any topic you want is up for grabs for tomorrow. And tonight is all about the Democratic primaries and who you think and what you think. And I have a bunch of announcements about it, and we'll go from there. I'll have other topics prepped for tomorrow, but those are the main ones. Today's show, I'm asking people to call in and tell me what they think the chances are for us to win in 2020. Tell me who you want to win. Tell me, obviously, we all want Trump to be out. For me personally, it has nothing to do with his party per se, because I don't really think he represents the Republican Party, or at least what I knew of the Republican Party. I'm ashamed of the Congress people, the Republicans who stood up and ignored absolutely everything and allowed him to get away with, all these atrocities that, there's so many things that have been brought up about what Trump has done, and only two of them were in the impeachment hearings. We had no witnesses, we had no paperwork, it was a sham, it was a joke. Tell me, how are we going to get this man out? I have no clue. I truly believe what we've experienced is the biggest cover-up. At least in my lifetime, and the transfer of power and the fundamental changes to our Constitution in my lifetime, we are not doing well. It seems that people aren't aware of that. Our Democratic Republic is basically, there's been a power grab, and he's winning. He's winning, and it's really scary. Trump's been essentially exonerated of his impeachable offenses, at least two of them, despite the Republicans admitting that he did them. This will set a precedent that will fundamentally end our system of checks and balances. It has, as we've known them in America. And our nation, I'm no expert. I've never said that, I was some expert, but I am a person on the planet, and I'm going to say, if this isn't a constitutional crisis, then I don't know what is. So I'm not really sure what else to say. Trump's exoneration makes him essentially above the law, and he is still in office, and that's terrifying. We've already seen how emboldened he's become. I do not believe for 1 minute that this is not going to just exponentiate his behavior. As we've seen, his cruelty to people who dared to go against him knows no end. He is truly a sick man. So Trump's learned, a lot of people say Trump hasn't learned anything from this experience at all. But I actually disagree. He has learned something from the experience. He's learned that he can do whatever the hell he wants. And he knows it. That's a really scary thing. So he can circumvent the spirit of the Constitution, the laws of the Constitution, and his clan will stand up and allow him to do just about anything. Shout out to Mitch McConnell and Robert Barr, who are his two guys who are pretty much keeping him protected. Mitch McConnell has been stopping all the bills from entering the Senate. And Bill, the attorney Bill, I call him, Barr, the Attorney General of the United States, has been aiding and abetting Trump's choices, making it legal to be essentially above the law. In my opinion, my humble opinion, as a layperson, not an expert, I believe this is the end of our democratic republic, and I'm not really sure if it's salvageable. I don't know what you guys think. All the presidents who come after him, if there are presidents who come after him, will know that the executive branch is essentially above the law. And I can't imagine someone as corrupt as he is, but it's really scary. I believe there's a word for this, and it's called dictatorship. So I'm freaked. I don't know what we can do. but I want to take some comments and we will go on. And if you have the call-in number, feel free to call in and tell me what you think. And tonight's topic, again, if you just joined us, is the Democratic primaries and Trump and how we can beat this man in 2020. Is it possible, or is it too late? I don't know. So you tell me. I'm going to take some comments. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, let me see. Anton says, I don't believe nothing none of them say. Yeah, you're jaded, you're done. And I understand that very, very much. That really makes sense. A lot of people are feeling that way. Nails and Glitter, Biden's had terrible numbers. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. He's been all the hype, and then all of a sudden, Nails and Glitter, it's like he's not doing too well. You know, I know a little bit about how it kind of goes in general, and this might be a really strange primary. I mean, just by definition, I think it is. But yeah, we'll see. Michael Johnson, hello. Look who came back after exploring the world. Yeah, I did. Although I'm not going anywhere now. Right. Bakari, message deleted. But thank you for being here, Michael Johnson, and Nails and Glitter, and Anton, and Bakari, and Gary, hello. And Michael Johnson, the coronavirus is real. Oh, yeah. Really, really scary. In fact, I've been in touch with a bunch of people in China, and it's really scary right now. Just to give you a quick update, I talked today to one of my students who lives in China right now, and she said, I mean, and this is her, take of the world. She's about 17. She said and I've talked to adults as well. There's pretty much nothing going on but the essentials. And she said there are police and there are doctors and the streets are barren. And it's really boring is what she said, but it's really scary. So every day I have a chance, because of what I do for a living, to talk to people in China, and I ask them what's going on. So they've been giving me live updates pretty much every day. And I really feel for everybody there, and I hope it can be contained really fast. Yes, it is real. Don, hello. He's going totally wild now. All of the prosecutors in the Roger Stone case resigned because of the Justice Department interfering to recommend reduced sentences for him. Oh, yeah, I read about that. My friend sent me an article. It's disgusting. It's a freaking free-for-all is what I think. Never before has he been this. I mean, we thought he thought he could just, do whatever. But at this point, I think he's gone nuts. And the stuff he's doing, erasing, tomorrow, in tomorrow's live show, I'm going to talk about how he's erasing some of the permanent records, destroying them, having them destroyed. The repercussions of this are, if we somehow get through it, are going to be just years and years and years, decades. We're going to find out things that he's done. I mean, we're in a really scary spot. And what I don't get is why more people don't give a shit. And I know people listening right now do. So I'm not going to, say something like that. But I don't think I have any friends in real, maybe like a handful of friends in real life who even care or have anything to do with anything. People have been disillusioned. Freedom's not free. And I think we're going to have a sad, sad rude awakening, in my very not so humble sometimes opinion. Let me keep taking stuff. Don, absolutely. It's really scary. And this is just the stuff we're hearing about. So I can't imagine. Bakari, the coronavirus is very real, not fake news. Oh, yeah, right. Of course. Don, Trump has said he has an absolute right to interfere. Yeah, I mean, if he's learned anything, he's learned that he can do whatever the hell he wants. I'm going to say this is not good. This is really scary. And I feel helpless. I'm sure everyone else does as well. Let me see. Jamie, thank you for being here. Excited to have you. Bakari, let me see. Feudalism runs America, not the so-called people. Yeah, we're not running the place. We're just not. Really, really scary. My friend brought up the topic to me and actually sent me a couple of links today on an organization that is actually Republican in nature, but not this kind of Republican, the other kind that upholds the Constitution. And I'm going to look into it. I've written them a letter. They're an organization that wants to unite people under the idea of we're in a constitutional crisis. And so I'm going to talk more about that probably in tomorrow's show. Let me see. Gary, thank you so much for being here. Oh, I got a cat. I don't know if you can hear that. I think the cat wants to be in the show again. Moscow Mitch and his cronies paved the way for Trump. They want a dictator to protect white supremacists and other assorted bigots. Absolutely. I'm going to hold true to what I said when he first started. He had him at racist. The minute they found out there was a real, live, overt racist running, that's all most people needed to know to support him. And I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. And it seems to be a part of the truth, if not the truth, at least a very contributing factor. So thanks, Gary, for being here and making comments. Jamie, Trump wants to cut Social Security. Oh, yeah, it's scary. He wants to cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, CDC, and Department of Health, food stamps, SNAP. It's right. SNAP pays out to military families a lot, and all for his wall. Absolutely. He's out of his freaking mind, honestly. And what scares me is that the general masses don't seem to really get this. Don't ever ask how Nazi Germany happened. And people will think, oh, angry soccer mom, you're so dramatic. But, I'm sure that's what they said too. Is, oh, come on. Denial is a big part of the human condition. And I'm really scared about this. I don't see people taking it seriously enough. If we don't win the election in 2020, I don't think this country can take another week of him, let alone another 4 years. I'm very afraid what he's going to do in the next, months. The damage having a person who believes he's above the law. I mean, I think he always believed he was above the law, but now he's kind of going, I can do whatever the hell I want. He's already doing a ton of stuff that is horrific. Anton, thank you for having. Absolutely, I'm thrilled you're here. Don, he has a history of destroying records from his companies to hide his criminal actions. Absolutely, and I have no doubt that that's what he is doing. In my opinion, there have been horrendous crimes against humanity done to the people at the border coming over for asylum. It's sick. I'll say it again. 7 children have died, and I blame him absolutely 100%. These children died of things they didn't need to die of. And I'm not a doctor, but this isn't rocket science. I'm sorry. This is sick as hell. He took part in killing 7 children. And people will say, oh, you're being so dramatic. But you know what? I look at children of the world as our children. He murdered these children. We murdered these children. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. And it's very emotional for me. And I am not afraid to say that. He took people's babies away and then let them die of things that are curable. And that is unconscionable. Back to the topic for tonight. I could just rant and rant. Let me see here. Yeah, Don, thank you so much. He absolutely doesn't. Oh, Don, he destroyed sacred Native American lands to build his racist wall. I read about that, and that's definitely a topic I want to bring up tomorrow, and it's disgusting. He is a monster. And normally I don't just go after one person, but at this point, he's the one that has all the power, plus his clan, who seem to be quite blinded. Like I said, Mitch McConnell and Barr are his biggest, supporters of this sickness. Let me take a few more people. Thank you, Don, for pointing out that. I read about that too. It's absolutely disgusting. Stevie, thank you for being here. Good to have you. Felix the cat. Plus, he supports Israel, who shoots Palestinian kids nearly every day. Yeah, the stuff going down there is unbelievable. He's literally taken any chances for, this is kind of speaking the obvious, a peaceful two-state solution off the table. He is obnoxious, and he's destroying our country on so many levels. I mean, I don't know where to start. I guess I kind of do. It's everything. And again, it may be too late. I guess we'll have to find out in retrospect if it's too late. I don't know how this is going to be fixed, if it is. But thank you, Felix the cat, for being here. Felix says hashtag BDS. And thank you very much for participating. And Michael, America is done as a country. The stench of our wickedness has reached the highest point, basically. America has pushed our way of life on the world. You can point out corruption in almost every area. Yeah, I would tend to agree. We are, everything Trump says about others is kind of what we are. The orange guy needs to go. I do not know what BDS is, so please tell me. I was thinking about that. I might, but I just might not know the acronym. I'm really bad. So please, this show is not for me to enlighten you. Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay, got it. Yes, I know about that. I didn't know that's what boycott. Thank you, Felix. You need to come on the show. Have her call in. Boycott, divest sanctions of Israel. Yeah, there's just so much going on. And everywhere Trump goes, he brings his damage. I appreciate you. He brings his pretty much hateful self. And like I've said for years, and I don't know exactly who's listening or who cares, but it seems kind of obvious. If you pick a leader who's fundamentally a really immoral, corrupt human being, we don't know all the decisions that he or she are going to make. We only get some of the information. We get such a small amount of all the decisions that are made. If you pick someone who's not a good guy to begin with, I mean, I think we could all agree that Trump's a really bad man. He's not a bad man because he's in office. He is a bad man. We're going to have really, really bad things happen. And I don't think we could have picked, and I don't quote me, but I don't think we could have picked a more corrupt, immoral human being. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about what makes us human. And when people pick someone because they think they might make an extra buck with them around, or they're disgruntled with the government, and they pick someone who's inhumane, every decision that person makes is going to be under the guise of being an inhumane person. And I think we've really seen that with him. Trump's been consistent. He's done what he promised. He promised to harm and further marginalize pretty much every historically marginalized group in the nation and outside of the nation, and he's pretty much done it. So he's lived up to his promises, absolutely. Some of us just weren't listening, or maybe we didn't care. I don't know. Let me see here. Grade 8, Trump is the symptom. Absolutely. And right now he's the symptom, but he's also, I want to say, no, it's not him, but right now the power that he's just had a power grab that's overwhelming. And that's just on the 2 impeachment items that have been presented and allowed to pass without consequence. So I'm extremely concerned what he's going to do in the next, 10, 11 months. It's really scary. And yes, of course, grade 8, he is the symptom. But right now he's the symptom who's on a rampage. So yeah, this is really scary. Educating the people, it might be too late. It really might be too late. I'm not trying to be the soothsayer of doom, but this is scary stuff. Don, the leader of Malaysia, is asking other nation leaders to join him in demanding for Trump to resign. I love it. I love it. I'd love to talk more about that tomorrow. I love that. In fact, for a while, naive little me thought that that's what some of the Republican senators would do until I realized what's really going on. It's terrifying, but great topic. Somebody has to be a leader, and I'm just not seeing it. People are afraid of this man. I mean, they're afraid because they want their reelection. We're way beyond reelection, people. Maybe not for people who are wanting to be reelected, but as a constituent, reelection, our nation, we're in a constitutional crisis. And I think most of us would probably agree that if this isn't it, then I don't know what is. At least, the worst one since the Civil War. I don't know, since I've been around, I haven't been around that long, but I've been around in my lifetime. I've never seen anything like this. Grady 8, the disease is systemic racism and oppression coupled with capitalism, which is an evil. Tino, yes. Oh my gosh, I'm happy. I was like, who was that again? Who's that again? I always forget the names. Thank you so much for being here. And I got to get you on here, get you on one of these shows one of these days. I know things are really crazy, but absolutely great points. Corruption is it's just crazy, and the power grab alone, again, it might be too late. Don says he has no moral compass. Yeah, he's I think he's mentally disturbed personally. I don't think that's like a long shot to say that. Stevie, Robert De Niro hates his guts. Yeah, I read about that. I've read a little bit about him too. Michael Johnson, how great can America be when the majority of its people choose an evil, corrupt dictator? We have lost all sense of right and wrong. Shake my head. Yeah, absolutely. I am ashamed of my fellow humans, every less stinking one of them, who chose to put a leader, oh my God, of this much. I mean, he's a mobster. He's a mobster, and it wouldn't take much to have just maybe like Googled his name and you would have found out a ton about him. I know not the majority voted for him, but enough people. And, like my sweet friend who is on here, I don't know if I'm supposed to mention this or not, said, at least the cognitive dissonance is pretty much gone. We have a leader of our nation that truly does seem to stand for a lot of our values. Not all of us, but he got elected somehow. And I'm very, very much feeling like people haven't done enough. It's not the Ku Klux Klan type that are overtly racist and it's, just off the freaking rockers. It's the people doing nothing, doing absolutely nothing. And I get a lot of us are struggling terribly to make ends meet. And I get this. But if we want to see what it's like to struggle, we think we're struggling now. It's all relative. I read a book. I used to read this book to my kids. I'm not trying to go rogue on you here, but read this book. And the book title makes me really mad because it says things could always be worse. And that's kind of denying people's feelings. It's about a family who basically, they're miserable. They're poor. They live in really bad conditions. They're not happy. And everyone's complaining to the dad. There's like 11 kids and it's poor. They live in really bad conditions. They're not happy. And everyone's complaining to the dad. There's like 11 kids and and the kids are like, are you kidding me? And then he says, you know what? Our neighbors need a place to stay. And he brings them in. and he brings some other people in. And pretty soon it is just out of control. And then they all leave. And guess what the dad says? Okay. Being miserable is relative. And I know that sounds like a harsh denying thing, but we have seen nothing. Living under a tyrant. I've never, have you? This is, and I'm not saying that people have equity and equality like we should in America, but if we want to live under it, we will all know, every last one of us, unless we're a billionaire or whatever, are going to know what relative means, because he's already doing horrific things. So anyway, I'm ranting. Sorry about that. But Michael, absolutely. How great can we be? You know, first of all, even to preempt that, how great can a country be if we have to talk about it all the time? You show how great you are. You don't talk about it. But we're way past that, I guess. Gary, I ran into an old friend, refuses to vote because all politicians are crooked and votes don't count. You know, I've met so many people like that. And as Robert Reich said in a video I just put up last week, the number one largest voting group in America, beyond any other, ta-da, non-voters. The non-voters, the people doing nothing. And guess what? According to his research, the non-voters are mostly going to vote Democrat by a fairly large amount, according to his stats. And he's a pretty smart guy, Robert Reich. So it's really scary. If we could somehow mobilize the people who have either not been able to vote, for some reason not wanted to. His thing is, if we can mobilize those people, this could be a blue wave. But how to do it is part of it. I mean, I was brainstorming the other day thinking maybe we could have each city do, something with Craigslist or just something where you match people up with people who need rides, you register people. The more people who vote, the more Democrat it's going to get versus Republican. Just those are the numbers. But I hope this primary isn't an indication, because the numbers aren't happening. I hope people are just thinking anyone but Trump. I'm an anyone but Trumper. I will literally vote for anyone but Trump. I will vote for a freaking rock. I will vote for my pet over him. Anybody but him. He is absolutely a total monster in my mind, and he's destroying, if not helped to destroy. And the people who support him, I feel the same way. I'm sorry. You can't support Trump and not be all that he encompasses. That is vile as a human. Because you know what? No matter what you say, you let him pass on some really evil things. It wasn't a game changer, and that is really, really scary. Because people say, oh, I'm not racist. He's racist, but I'm not racist, but I support him. Well, you know what? You kind of let it slide and you voted for him anyway, or you support him anyway. So you can say you're not, but it wasn't a deal breaker for you. So if it wasn't a deal breaker for you, keep talking about how not racist you are, but it wasn't a deal breaker. That's all I'm going to say. That's not all I'm going to say, but so what? Okay. Oh, I never shut up. Gary, I'm running into the same thing. Some of my friends are saying, oh, I'm not going to vote unless it's this. I'm not going to vote unless it's that. Whatever you think of the founding fathers, whatever you don't think of them, they gave us our Constitution. It's a really brilliant piece of writing, and it's being torn apart. And for good or for bad or whatever, we're letting it. I mean, the people just don't care enough. Not us, not the people I'm talking to right now, but people just don't care. Because if we did, we wouldn't be doing this. People are uneducated and they don't care. Let me see. So yeah, Gary, I've run into some people too. It's so frustrating. It's like education. We just need education like crazy, but it might be too late. So, I'm going on and on. Gary, not the, let me see here. Sorry. Don, a YouTube group has counted that Trump has said that he intends to remain in office for life 27 times. Yeah. And here's something that really, really is a problem that I've been thinking about. He's always joking around, sort of saying, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, I'm going to be, he's getting older, but his child is named Barron. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just saying. I mean, he might be referring to his family in some sort of dynasty. I would not put it past him. Like, he keeps saying he's going to be in office, he's going to stay in office. This is sick shit. Everything about him on so many levels is a part of him trying to circumvent our Constitution. And he is succeeding. It's really scary. So I don't know what we're going to do if we can't mobilize people to vote. I think it's our last chance, and I think it might be too late. So I'm just saying. All right, let me take some more comments. Gary says to Michael, not the majority who voted for him, but still, right. Stevie, he's a monster and a sexual predator. Oh, yeah, whatever happened to the witness? There was a witness that backed off a couple days before he started, I believe, right before he became the candidate. She was about to tell all, and the witness that saw him allegedly rape a woman when she was a child. I don't know if you've ever seen that interview. It's just horrific. To listen to the lady talking about how he tied her up and did that to her. And it was with Epstein at one of Epstein's parties. And I don't know if y'all know all about that kind of stuff, but I've read a ton, and it is terrifying. Absolutely. Let me see here. Where am I? Grady 8. Yes, I would love that. Gary, I would love to have you on. We have to talk. I don't know if you know this, but I got my sob story. I got booted off of Facebook for life, basically, with no explanation. Nothing. No, they didn't tell me why. About 4 months beforehand, they started to not share any of my posts in any of my groups, and any of my pages and my own homepage. And then I asked them why, and then they told me they didn't know what I was talking about. Then I wrote them again and asked them if they could refer me to another part of the company, I guess you could say, of the company. And they did, and then they told me they didn't know what I was talking about. And then I wrote one last time, and then lo and behold, I was kicked off every single thing with no explanation. So that's extremely uncool. But I'm going to start all over on another platform. So I hope people will follow me and help me get it established. I spent years, establishing people who I knew. Oh my gosh, it's all about me today. No, I'm going to go on. But yeah, I'd love to have you on, Grady 8. Let me see here. Gary, Trump's the embodiment of all that's bad about the United States, all rolled up into one vile creature. Absolutely, you stole my line. Grady 8 says, is there too much focus on him? Is he a distraction? Since the impeachment hearings, look at the change in policies that are detrimental to our very lives. Yeah, I mean, I know for me, that's a great question. I know for me, I realize it's not him, he is the result. But right now, he's done his power grab, and he's above the law now, and he knows it. So I think we're coming into some really uncharted territory. If I could say more uncharted than the territory has already been, which has been pretty uncharted, with somebody like him. I think we've done a really, really bad thing having him. And that's probably the understatement of the century. yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what to do. We need some leadership. But barring Mitch McConnell and all of the Klan, they're just holding out. I don't know if they think they'll get a spot in the regime, but they sold their souls. Really sick shit. This is not about politics for me. Never has been. It's about being human. And I think they're really not acting like humans, because humans don't do this to their fellow brothers and sisters. They just don't. So it's really, really sad. Great point, Grady 8. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Boss, Yang dropped out. I know. And I have that in my notes. Actually, that's my next thing in my notes. Yang dropped out. He gave a really nice parting speech. I thought it was extremely cool that he brought the whole idea of universal income. Most Americans, I'm guessing, had no clue that some countries are experimenting with universal income. In other words, this crazy, strange idea that in a wealthy country, nobody should be hungry. Nobody should be starving. Nobody should be living at the point where they are suffering terribly from the basics: food, water, clothing, shelter, and just the basics. Universal income is an amazing thing, and I clearly don't think our nation has the values for that. We treat our most vulnerable people like a piece of shit, in my very opinionated opinion. So giving a universal income would, oh my gosh, that would give things to people who we don't believe deserve things. Like poor people, we think they deserve no health care. Why do I say this? Because a lot of people in America who are poor have no health care. A lot of people in America who are middle class have no health care, or their care is so expensive that we end up waiting and not taking the medicine and not getting the tests done until we finally go to the emergency room. It's too late. It's too late. So now this is supposed to be a call-in show. So if anybody has the number and wants to call in, let me know. If you can't get through, I will definitely try to figure that out. I believe all you have to do is dial the magic number. And if you want that magic number, you just have to go and beg me for it. No, I'm just kidding. You have to go to my Facebook page, which I am still slightly privy to using, and write me a personal message. I will find out who you are. I will look you up, and I will give you the number if you're not like a crazy troll just trying to be all silly and all that. So, okay. Let me take some comments before we go on. So thank you for that. Yes, Andrew Yang went out, and I think it makes sense. He was very gracious, and I loved his fresh ideas. And hopefully he will be around doing other things and being an influence. David Farley, thank you for being here. We have to vote blue no matter who, but you have to try to picture voting for a candidate who will have to work across party lines. Yeah, that's a really tough thing too, because I don't think things are going to go well unless we have a progressive. See, the other countries that are kind of in our, how shall I put it, kind of similar to ours, they all have, most of them have, we're lagging. We're not even close. We don't have things that they have. In fact, I saw an article that some of the Scandinavian countries are living the American dream more than America's living the American dream. Okay. And I absolutely believe that. I know a few people from Norway and Sweden, and oh, here's my call. First call. This is exciting. Hello. Welcome.
Hi, Kim.
Hi.
This is Neil Douglas.
Neil. Oh my gosh. Yay. Thank you so much for calling. This is exciting. I am happy to have you. What say you?
Well, I got to tell you something. I think right now, as far as the Democratic primary and what's going on with the Democratic Party, even Elizabeth Warren said it. The division is happening, and it's going to hurt them. Right now, I don't know. I think Bernie's at the lead in New Hampshire, which is expected.
Right.
That's not uncommon. I don't, I know that there will probably be people that disagree with me, but I'm going to.
That's okay.
Like I think.
I want your opinion.
I think my opinion is I don't think you should count Biden out. And mainly because you got South Carolina coming up. And I don't think Sanders can carry the South.
Interesting.
Buttigieg, he does have that charisma of the Obama and even the Bush. I'm going to mention him because he had charisma that got him elected. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but Buttigieg is not ready for presidency.
And
he won't make it in the South.
Right. You of all people know, he's your mayor. So, right. I mean.
That's right. That's right.
So you of all people know a lot about him. Right. That makes sense.
Say that again.
You of all people know a lot about him since he's your actual mayor. But.
Well, yeah. And the sad part about it is, and I'm going to say it like it is, he's got a great following. He's getting some good actors. Michael J. Fox just endorsed him. And I forget who else, doesn't matter. And he's getting some money, but he's not going to be able to stay in this race as strong as Sanders or even Biden. And I like Klobuchar. I really do. And it's just I don't think she's going to be strong enough. Elizabeth Warren, she's angry.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this as a situation that can divide the Democrat Party. And I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of people like Sanders. I mean, and God bless them. That's their privilege, their right, and I respect that. But I think at this point in time, I think Sanders is, I want to say he's too far left.
Yeah, and that's really scary. I know a lot of people think that. And personally, I would love to see a Sanders Warren ticket. And I don't care what order. And
well, Warren, it would be good for that ticket because Warren is not as far left.
Not quite, right. Right.
You know what I mean, as far as
absolutely
being socialist. And I wouldn't count her out, but she's got to get over the anger. She's got some anger in her right now.
Interesting.
And I don't want to take up the phone time.
No, not at all. It's great having you. You don't think that anger is warranted and something people want to see, or?
Well, I think if she's going to be, there's nothing wrong with anger, but what's happening is the anger is almost like, okay, I'll give you an example. It was almost like people thought Biden was angry and left New Hampshire to go to South Carolina. Okay. Then actually he wasn't angry. His supporters knew that he wasn't going to make it in New Hampshire. They already knew that. So they expected him to go to South Carolina. So don't count him out.
All right. Yeah, because a lot of people are wondering, boy, what's going on. I honestly, I know you know me very well, and I will vote for anyone that wins the Democratic primary. Absolutely anyone.
Well, I think that you're going to see that happen with a lot of people, even the independents.
I sure hope so.
Well, you're not hearing a lot about the independents.
No.
You're not hearing a lot about those that are undecided,
right,
or those that have been polled or not polled or not answered the polls. You're not hearing about those people. You're only hearing a certain number of polls of people. But quite honestly, I don't want to break anybody's heart or disappoint anybody, but I followed this whole thing for so long, for so many years I've followed politics,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not an expert, so I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to toot my own horn, because I'm
No,
not.
but you're quite
But I'm going to
knowledgeable.
tell you, it's going to
Okay.
be extremely, extremely difficult to beat Trump.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's possible for anybody to be an incumbent as absolutely corrupt and horrific as he is, and with an economy that's good. And I don't care why it's good. People don't care. And the funny thing is, it's not funny. The pathetic thing, you know, I want to laugh like haha instead of cry is, Neil, a lot of the people I think truly don't understand that it's lovely to have, you know, Wall Street doing well, and the wealthy people who might have a lot of investments are doing great. And I'm absolutely happy for them. But what about the other side of the economy with the everyday person who is barely getting by, is underemployed, is you know, working 2-3 jobs, barely making ends meet? The recession killed people. It destroyed
You
people.
don't have.
I don't think we're getting the picture. Oh, go ahead. I just don't think we're getting the full picture. Go ahead.
There is no other side as far as Trump is concerned.
I know, and that's.
I didn't mean to interrupt you on that.
Oh, not at all. I'm done. I just. Right.
I will say this. You're with you know, Buttigieg gave Sanders a good run for his money, and so did Klobuchar, really. I mean, if you look at her numbers,
mm-hmm.
And I'm impressed. But the thing that people don't realize, and I don't mean to be putting Buttigieg down, but I'm going to tell you something. They're not showing the real side of South Bend, Indiana.
How so?
The murder rate, the homeless rate, the financial situation of South Bend's in. Their school system's about to be taken over by the state.
Mm-hmm. Wow, interesting. That's.
No, I'm very serious.
That's severe, because I know.
And yet,
I know how that works.
And he wants to put a train, the train that comes to the airport out of Chicago. He wants to bring it all the way downtown South Bend, which is going to cost them millions upon millions of dollars that they don't have.
So he's likable, but maybe he's not exactly killing it job-wise.
He's not.
Is what you're saying?
That's right. He's yes.
Yeah.
He's not. He's not ready.
Yeah. Wow.
He's very charismatic. He's very good at what he says, and people like him.
Right.
And I can understand that. But they got to know the real side.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting.
You know, that's what I'm. You know, I mean, I'm not going to rattle on Jim, because I talked too long.
No, it's okay, because you live there. Neil actually resides in where he's mayor, where Buttigieg is mayor, and do you know him, or I know you know a lot about him, but
no, I don't know him at like a personal basis,
mm-hmm.
but I do know him.
Right, he's your mayor. I mean,
he's not right. He's not fond of me. I'm not going to lie to you. Because I know his background, and what he's doing to South Bend. Okay. He has tried to take South Bend, and now there's been some good things he's done for South Bend, so I'm not going to take that away from him.
Right.
Like you know, like the medical field, he's brought in more medical facilities that they can build. You know, the hospital and they've got a good heart situation there, heart hospital now.
Okay, whereas they didn't before. So
I mean, he's done some good things, believe me. But he is right now. South Bend's in trouble.
Yeah.
And what you're seeing are the good things and not the real things.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that's just like with Trump. We're not seeing the real things. We're seeing the, like you put it, the Wall Street side. He spins
everything into a lie. I don't believe anything he says. I mean, his State of the Union, what a joke. It's embarrassing. But wow, I'm really, really glad that you called in. This is exciting, because I know you know a ton about him, and he is, you know, doing much better than I think a lot of people thought he would. I personally am not a huge fan, but if for some reason he gets that nomination, you bet your ass I'm going to vote for him, because I will vote for like the dog next door.
I'm going to tell you something. Whoever gets it, it's going to be a situation, and that is going to be a very hot and heavy competition, especially in the when they have their debates.
Oh yes, he's very nasty. He's a very nasty man. Yeah.
Yes.
Good point.
And don't be surprised with the money that Bloomberg's putting out.
Right.
He doesn't sneak in.
Yeah, I heard he's creeping up. He's creeping up. Yep. Well, I'm gonna thank you so much for calling. This is awesome.
I didn't mean to take all this time.
Not at all. I'm thrilled to have you, Neil, and you are wonderful. Neil, I have to toot your horn a little bit. Neil used to run for years and years and years his own syndicated radio show all over the United States, and he is absolutely very educated about a lot of topics, and he's been wonderfully supportive of my YouTube channel and all my social activism, and you're wonderful, and thank you so much. Thank you for calling.
So are you, and doggone it, I can't understand Facebook blackballing you for life.
Yeah.
When you mentioned that,
Yeah.
Well, whatever you got next.
I know why they did.
We know that it's going to work.
I know why they did. We'll chat.
Well, I'm just saying,
Thanks.
we're all behind you. We
Thank
support
you
you, and I
so
know people that are online, doing their messaging.
Yeah.
They do. We all support you.
You're wonderful. Thank you so much.
We love
really
you, and you take care. And thanks for taking my call.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. This.
By the way, I got one quick thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spending some time in Florida right now.
I know, and I'm jealous. Just saying.
So, anyway, thank you again, Ken. Have a good show. I'll still be watching.
Thank you so much. This is awesome. Yay! Good start to the Collins. Okay, take care. Talk to you soon,
You
my
too.
friend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Very exciting, my sweet friend Neil. So everybody, if you want to, oh my goodness, somebody else. Yay. Hello, welcome. Thanks for calling. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello.
Am I on your show tonight?
You are on my show tonight. Yay. Hello, how are you?
I'm okay, and you?
I'm doing okay. I'm thrilled to have you call in. So what do you think of all this mess? What do you have to say?
Oh, good. Oh, I just saw the results, and Buttigieg is winning.
In the New Hampshire?
And let's see here.
Really?
They were showing it. Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
And Mike Pence is kind of he's not showing. He's not doing a good job here. So, but who I think is going to win it is Bloomberg. I think we need a pit bull to go against a pit bull.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm not 100% sure what you meant about Pence, but Bloomberg, yeah, they say he's really moving up. He's got tons of money, and he's willing to spend it. So this is a really strange thing going on. And when you say, I get what you're talking about, somebody who really knows how to fight dirty, like not saying he will, but it's gonna have to be a really strong person. Trump's quite out of control. So
yeah, I think Bloomberg scares Trump, scares 45, because he probably has something on Trump that Trump doesn't want everybody to see. And first of all, he can stand up in the debate and say, hey, show me your taxes. I'm ready to serve your mind. And he can't come back with that bullshit saying, they're being audited, because Bloomberg knows how the system works.
Absolutely. Yeah, great point. Very true. And that might be the case. I don't know that anyone at this point can beat Trump, but maybe Bloomberg's the one. I mean, the last thing this nation needs is another millionaire, billionaire, whatever. But you know what? I'm not putting them all in one basket. There's some billionaires that are incredibly philanthropic, and they're very.
He has a lot of the African, support, even though he had the
stop and frisk.
Right.
And only apologized once it was kind of in the limelight for his running.
But the thing about it is that even though it was ugly and racist, it still saved a lot of lives.
Yeah, there's a lot of people have been so damaged by it, and boy, I mean, obviously I respect your opinion, absolutely, but that's a real toughie. That's a lot of people. Oh, and to this day, I mean, yeah.
Now, if he comes back and says, he's going to, I don't know the word I'm looking for, try to fix it by letting those people go or open up some kind of scholarship or something like that, then yeah. But he still has a lot of black support because he's the one that can go up against Trump. Now, Buttigieg,
yeah.
How you pronounce
Buttigieg?
Yeah. He's probably the smartest tool in the shed, but nobody's addressing the elephant in the room. He is a gay man, and I'm not bashing gays at all, but we have countries that we deal with that
exactly
100% against homosexuality. To the point that they got people running out of their own country because they're getting killed. So how are they going to deal with the United States with a gay president?
Right. I mean, and that's actually kind of what I was thinking when we talked about that a little bit earlier. I was thinking to myself, that is something to think about. I don't know enough about international politics to know exactly how much it is, but there are countries where it is illegal to be gay. And if he has to go to those countries, he is illegal. And that's insane. We all know that, but it might, I don't know. I'm not privy to, I don't know enough. I'm not an expert, not even close to know, but that is a really scary point.
You probably have a lot of people that's listening that know of these countries, like Iran, Iraq, Egypt, anything in the East. I mean, we have Australia, we got England, and we have Canada. But the countries that hate us, but like our support, what are they going to say?
Right, and how are they going to work with somebody like that? And then there are the few but very extreme countries who will put you to death if you're. So I mean, it's we could say that about countries that don't allow women, kind of like ours. What's funny is I always have somebody calling me on my phone while I'm doing the show because they think my number is the number. So my phone's going crazy. But yeah, you made an excellent point, and I appreciate it very much. That's definitely something to think about. And then if you heard what Neil was saying, maybe Buttigieg isn't really ready. I mean, so there's a lot going on. We'll have to see how it works. But anyway, thank you so much for calling in. Do you have anything else you wanted to add? Anything else you wanted to say? Because I'm thrilled.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You're
Thank
good?
you for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. You're a sweetheart. All right. This is fantastic. I am loving people calling. There's still somebody desperately trying to call me. I'm not 100% sure why, but let's take some comments and go from there. Oh, there's another person. Let me see. Hi, thanks for calling in. Hello. Hi, thank you for calling in. Can you hear me?
Hey, young lady, how are you? It's Colonel Don, yeah.
Don, I recognize you. Yay, thanks for calling. Sweet. This is Don, who's on the live show, on the Wednesday live show a couple times already. How are you? What do you have to say? And I'm sure you have a lot to say. I'm thrilled to have you call. What do you think?
Let's talk about a couple of things. We'll go over a few things that have been touched on that your previous callers touched on, and whatever else you'd like to talk about.
Maybe you can shed some light on some of that, because I know you're very well informed about this kind of thing, as well as a military man.
Right.
So you know things.
Start with, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let's start with the pronunciation of Mayor Pete's last name. Mm-hmm. I remember it by saying Buddha Judge. That's how he described it phonetically. Mm-hmm. Forget about trying to look at it and trying to pronounce it. If you do it phonetically, it's easy. It's Buddha and Judge.
Buddha Judge.
And that's the way I remember it as well. I like him a lot, but just as previous callers pointed out, there are some international issues, as well as the fact that even amongst Democrats, there are some people that have some, how do we say it plainly, without backing away from the elephant in the room, as it was called.
They're bigots? Bigots?
There are people that, what's that?
They're bigots? Is that what you're, bigots towards people who are homosexual? Or I'm sorry, I'll let you finish. Go on.
People who are homophobic, yes. There are people in the middle who are homophobic.
Absolutely.
Let's start with the very foundation of the fact that it's always the people in the middle that do the actual deciding for who gets elected as president. The far right is going to vote the far right. The far left is going to vote the far left. And whoever, I agree with you that whoever comes out of the nomination as far as voting blue is who I will support also. But we have to be realistic about who's going to be electable with regard to the evil in the White House that needs to be countered.
Beating Trump is what you're referring to, right? Who can beat Trump? Yeah. Do we know who can beat Trump? I mean,
well, we know that there's a lot of people that are trying to come out as the front runners. One of the things that clues you in as to who might be the best candidates, regardless of what the polling is saying right now, and I know that Pete's doing really well, and congratulations to him, is who does Trump fear the most? The two people that he seems to fear the most are Biden and Bloomberg, which is very interesting. I love Liz. She's got a plan for everything.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
She's great as far as that is concerned. She's very intelligent. Someone mentioned that they thought Mayor Pete was the smartest person. I agree with that. I think he is the smartest person, but we talked about his other subtracting issues, and those are serious concerns that are not going to get past the middle group in between the far right and the far left that is actually going to be doing the actual selecting of who is going to be next.
Great point. Great point.
Amongst those people, who do we have? Klobuchar. I've heard people talk about Klobuchar. She's decisive. She's strong. I get all of that. She has a number of issues, though, that have rubbed people the wrong way in terms of them being able to get behind her and support her. I know that she has an abrasive side. I don't know that should be held against her so much, but it's there. It exists. It's going to come out even further if she goes further along. I'm not sure. I think that Biden has some things that I'm not crazy about as well, but he's kind of a known commodity in a certain way. I like Bernie, but the Bernie and bus people are scary because that kind of attitude is what allowed Jill Stein to be a fly in the ointment, for example, in the last election.
Right, and take up some of the votes.
And Tulsi Gabbard is trying to take on that role this time around. I think she should be totally ignored.
I see that as well, yeah.
The Bloomberg and Biden options, I don't think are optimal. but I think at the end of the day, they might be the last one standing. And like I said, just like you, I support whoever is going to come out of the mix with regard to whoever the blue nominee turns out to be.
Yep, I know you do.
I will go in that direction.
I know you will as well.
Yeah, there are so many things that are being corrupted by the current POTUS. You need a score sheet.
I can't keep track.
There's a new nightmare.
Yep, every day. Every day.
And he's become more emboldened. There are so many people that really need to be eliminated from their positions on the Republican Senate in this next election.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Susan Collins is absolutely useless.
She's obnoxious.
Weather vane.
Yep.
And she is. If you've heard her talk, she can barely rub two thoughts together. She's really tough to listen to, and because of the fact she has no backbone to stand up for anything.
It's a shame. I'm ashamed of her behavior.
Yes.
I really am. As a person to person, just human to human.
Yes. Jim Jones needs to be gone. McConnell needs to be gone.
Oh, goodness. Absolutely.
Certainly Graham needs to be gone. The people that have been the loudest and most
inhumane,
voracious,
absolutely,
and inhumane in supporting the Fuhrers. And you talked about some of the 7 children that have died in custody. There are so many parallels. He really is following the exact playbook of the previous generation in the 30s and 40s. We know who we're talking about here.
Hitler, yeah.
The authoritarian.
Absolutely.
That
Robert Reich has just.
It's not even
showing.
Close. Yes. Robert Reich is very intelligent, and he broke it all down.
He's broke exactly.
And showed that there were many parallels.
Yeah.
With regard to the POTUS following the exact playbook. Mm-hmm. Of what's going, and the equivalency of what's going on with his disrespect for minorities and women.
Oh,
look
goodness.
at all of the cases that are against him. He's fighting the thing about the DNA. He's interfered with the thing about Roger Stone. He has destroyed records. He has manipulated the system. He has inserted. He and McConnell especially, is really dangerous because he knows what he's doing. He actually knows how the government works.
Exactly.
And they've inserted all of these.
Well, they're co-conspirators, really.
They are co-conspirators.
I'm sorry to say they really are co-conspirators in my mind to dismantling and circumventing our Constitution.
The American Bar Association out of the vetting loop for who gets to get these permanent judging positions.
That's a fantastic point. And I don't know if a lot of people know that, that he basically took them out of the loop to vet these people because they're absolutely appalled. These people are not professionals even. They are not qualified. They are not.
Exactly. There's been a huge percentage of them that have been unapproved by the American Bar Association that he and McConnell have still pushed through because they are loyal to the Fuhrer's platform, policies, etc.
And I never thought that was the highest standard. I thought that was kind of a minimal standard that the Bar Association would say, well, I'm not saying a low standard, but they can't even pass the bar standard of the United States?
No, they can't pass the American Bar Association.
I'm sorry.
What the qualifications are for what a viable, credible judge should be.
To me, that's minimal standards. Right. That's a minimum standard.
Exactly. Well, the only standard that he goes by is who's most loyal to him. Look at that
fool
that he has put in charge of the EPA.
Oh, my God.
The EPA is non-existent now.
Right. No.
This guy is dangerous to the entire planet. He's taken away all of the clean air and clean water regulations. He's taken away all of the restrictions on
food regulations as well.
Waste into the ponds and streams and lakes and rivers. It's just amazing. He's sold off and taken away the protections of previously protected sacred lands because he has zero respect for Native Americans.
He's zero respect for anybody. Right, exactly.
Yes, he does. That's not, in his close
circle. Yeah, I mean,
correct.
I agree 100%. Don, I am just the aftermath, if there is an aftermath of what he's done, we have yet to see oh my goodness, the things that he's done.
It will take generations to undo the horrific damage that he has done so far.
Right. It's like the Lorax, the book, the Lorax by Dr. Seuss. Not that he's, the best example. It's like, my God, the fish and it's like he's exponentially destroying our planet.
Zero understanding of
science,
ecology, the climate, the ecosystems. He has taken away all of the restrictions for hunters, polar bears. There are you realize how many animals have come up on the extinction list since he has been president? They're now endangered species, and he has taken away the protections of the existing endangered species. He's basically saying, do whatever the heck you want.
It's
to all of these people that want to do
unconscionable
wanton destruction on God's beautiful creatures. It's
right.
Absolutely disgusting and scary to.
Trump doesn't believe in science, and he doesn't believe in social science. Yeah, it's really not good. So sad.
It's totally it really is a mess, and the entire structure and foundation. Look at what Barr is now doing in restricting the FBI from being able to do any independent investigations, just in case they may stumble across some of the criminal and crooked stuff that the POTUS is involved in.
Absolutely. He's the co-conspirator of the year. He and Mitch McConnell are the co-conspirators of the year. They win it. They win the award of the century.
And you've heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. It stinks to low Hades that Ivanka Trump, Jeff Sessions, Mitch McConnell are all involved in heavy investments in voting machine manufacturing companies, and they get kickbacks of stipends from those companies. So they're getting paid off to stay away from anything that will interfere with them rigging the election system.
Yep.
It's beyond the pale.
I mean,
this is absolutely.
They talk about Hunter Biden. I'm laughing my ass off. Right? It's like his children alone.
Hunter Biden. That's another vicious rumor that Hunter Biden. Both of the Bidens have been exonerated. There's a New York Times article I posted it several.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, and it doesn't matter to Trump folks. It doesn't matter to Trump folks.
No, it doesn't. The facts don't matter to the Trump folks. That's right. It's very scary.
Some of the fake news that's still spreading around is atrocious. I just wrote somebody I know today. I happened to see some absolutely, somebody wrote on Facebook. Gee, go figure. All about how 5 or 6 different senators' children are attached to Hunter Biden's, the company that he used to be with. It's just categorically not true. It's a fabricated lie. But with the fake stuff going around and people not checking, people not caring. I just tore someone a new one basically in private, saying you gotta be shitting me. You're passing fake news and propagating this.
They're falling right into Putin's playbook, and you see where there was another critic of his that was recently assassinated. I think that this is part of what has the Senate intimidated, and everybody says they're scared of Trump. Well, this is the reason why. They think that if they go too far afield of what he wants, that they or a family member could be in danger.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt that they're afraid.
I think that these examples that are being tossed under their nose by people that Putin directly has a antagonistic relationship with is part of the warning shots across the bow to these people that they better stay in line. The fact that on Russian news media, Putin has gone on the air and supported Trump through all of his trials and tribulations, and the Russian news media is saying that Trump is ours, language like that, saying that he's basically in their pocket.
Yep.
You see the way that he panders to Russia, where the mob oligarchs, obviously through the authorization of Putin, propped him up out of 4 bankruptcies, and the other 2 bankruptcies of the 6 that he's had total, he got bailed out by Crown Prince MBS out of Saudi Arabia, which is why he's been so differential and gone around the rules and clearly broken the law with regard to arms sales to them and everything. And if we want to talk about, here's another thing that really burns the crap out of me with regard to my knowledge on the military bases. When he had the army pull back and abandon the curve so that they then were in a position to be wiped out by the Turks and retreated to Syria, and they abandoned the Syrian air bases, Russia immediately moved in, took over those bases, and they have now taken possession of Tomahawk missiles that were left behind. So they reverse engineered them. So those missiles are no longer effective against any Russian military targets because they know how to counter them. Not only that, they know how to build them on their own and put in a different configuration so that we can't counter what they're doing.
Interesting.
It's an entire nightmare for all of the top secret things that he has said to them, that we find out through Russian media what he has said to them, as well as the things he said behind closed doors to them. He has broken the law by not documenting all of his diplomatic conversations with all of these people, with the Saudis, with the Russians, with the Israelis. All of that stuff is totally outside of the norms of normal protocol and the normal laws and regulations that we have with regard to the people that are in the Oval Office and in the administration and beyond, as a part of the State Department and as a part of all of the governmental interactions in terms of the way that the machine is supposed to work in the government when it's run the way that it's supposed to be run. But he has no moral compass. He has no respect for the rule of law. He thinks he's king now that the Senate has failed to give him any type. They didn't even censure him.
They didn't censure him. Right. And I'm going to, God, you have such excellent points.
They didn't even get a wrist slap.
Right. Yeah, no, this is an incredibly terrifying time. I'm going to try to move on because I got about 500 little comments here, but Don, you are a wealth of information and just bring up so many incredibly valid, terrifying points. You're wonderful. I definitely would love you to come on again and talk about just these kind of subjects, because there's too much information out there. People are lost. A lot of people have kind of quit. They can't keep up and they don't know what's happening. So, it's exhausting. It's got to be exhausting. So.
Well, I'm sorry to have taken up so much of your time.
Oh, not at all.
Thank you so much for accepting my call.
Thrilled to have you.
Keep on doing the great and wonderful things that you do. And love your show. Love all of the things that you support. I hope in some way, shape, or form someday you get out of Facebook jail. In the meantime, let's continue our communication, and I will make as much of a contribution in a tiny way that I can to try and endorse and keep your cause moving forward.
If I can jump in really fast and just, I wanted to thank you so much for your mentorship, everything. You're coming on the show. You're helping me privately and supporting me. I could not be a luckier person. You've been so good to me. And I just appreciate you very much. You are wonderful.
You're most welcome. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to be of assistance.
Thank you so much. And you've got to come on the show really soon, okay?
I will. Take care.
Okay. Thank you, Don. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. For those that don't know, that is Don, and he is absolutely been an integral part of supporting me and what I want to do. And he's been amazing. I am absolutely thrilled to have him call in. Let me get some comments here. A lot of people. I see some folks that have just come in. I hope they're still there. And let me see here. I'm backing it up. Oh my goodness. Lots of comments. I don't even know where to start. I'm backing it up still some more. Okay, think I found my spot. Let me see. Dave Farley, if you're still here, as much as a majority of the Democrats in the House and Senate can't stand the sight of Republicans, if the two parties are actually deadly enemies, nothing will get done. This is true. If the two parties are also pretty much one's in charge of being the dictators, I don't think the other party is going to be a party. So we have some serious issues going on. I'm not trying to be the soothsayer of doom, but I'm seeing this progress like you all are seeing it progress. And I'm starting to think we're screwed. You know, I guess Democratic Republics can't last forever, supposedly. And I don't know enough about it, but boy, oh boy, we're going down fast. It's kind of exponential. It's happening faster than I thought it would. And I don't know if our nation can take another, 10, 11 months of this man and what he's doing. And his supporters have stopped listening, have stopped caring long ago. And I don't see them budging. And if we can't get some people to step up to the plate and vote and start caring, they're like, I'll say it again, Robert Reich, he spelled it out in a video I just put on last week, said the #1 largest voting bloc in America by far are non-voters, people who are eligible to vote and they don't. And most of them are of the more Democrat independent persuasion. And if they don't get their ass in gear and register and get out there, do you realize how hard it is to beat an incumbent president? Yes, he's a very vile man, but he still has that incumbent, kind of kickstart and an economy for, I don't care, we can credit whoever we want. It doesn't matter. People don't care. They hear good economy and they don't think, well, is it good for me personally? Or is it good for the wealthiest people in America? And I'm still struggling. I hate to say it, but we're not I would never call us an overly educated bunch, for lack of a better way to put it. We are an ignorant group in general. And I'm talking about the masses in the United States, because we haven't caught on. Unless you're a billionaire, Trump and his clan, they are not your friends. They are not acting in your best interest. They are going against your best interest. And it seems so obvious, but you know what? Like I say, I truly believe he had him at racism. I mean, at racist. The minute people found out just how overtly racist he was, nothing else mattered. I don't know if that's a subconscious thing. I don't know if it's a conscious thing. It doesn't matter. He had him at racist. I think a lot of folks have been waiting for this kind of a leader since the Civil War. I'm talking familiar, obviously their family and generations. We've never addressed this. And this is just part of it, but it's a pretty huge part, because no matter what, like I'll say it again, no matter what people say, like, I'm not racist. I support Trump, but I'm not racist. You know what? It wasn't a deal breaker for you. And that is huge. You might not think you're racist, because God knows nobody does. But it wasn't a deal breaker, and that's disgusting. And that's my speech. And I'm going to take some comments here. Sorry about that. Bear with me while I get used to having people call in. It's just exciting and wonderful. And I will get better at it. But we had a bunch of cool people call in, and if you have the number, you're welcome to call in. If you don't have the number and want the number, all you have to do is beg. All you have to do is write into me personally at my Angry Soccer Mom Facebook page. I still have a little bit of, I can still get into there and get private messages and ask me for the number, and I will give it to you. Right? We're just trying to keep trolls from going nuts on our show, which today seems like a wonderful, wonderful time. I'm going to take some more comments, and we will go from there. Goodness. Tony, hello. Thank you so much for being here. And I skipped a couple of people, but I'll get back. Dave Farley, thank you so much for your great comment. You have good points. Boss Hog, you want to know what's really sick? The DNC rigging the caucuses and allowing a majority of speaking time to the candidates they back. Tell me more about that. I was watching for that, and I didn't see any articles on it specifically. If you want to post an article on it on here or tell me more, I would love it, because this isn't for me to teach people. This is for all of us to do so. And if you know something I don't, or something someone else doesn't, bring it on. They're going to vet you out like crazy on here, because that's what we do. So whatever you put, you'll get checked. But definitely put some articles on if you can. I'd love to hear more, because tomorrow's show is Your Choice, Your Voice. So just because I've planned certain topics, come on and talk about what you want to talk about and bring on the information. Jeff says, Mummy, hello. My name's Jeff. Mummy, hello, Jeff. Tony, I said hello to. Thank you so much for being here. And Dave, how are you doing tonight? What about the travel ban on Nigeria? First of all, Nigeria is over 40% Muslim and 60% Christian even. Yeah, good point. And that's something for tomorrow's conversation for sure. In fact, I'm going to have to remind myself, because these are random. These are ludicrous. I think we all know that. There's no logic in what he does. He's banned countries he's allowed countries that basically were the harborers of the 9/11 terrorists, yet banned countries that have done nothing. I mean, it's Trump's world. We just seem to kind of live in it, I guess. I'm not sure how else to put that. Great points. Michael Johnson, the public spectacle that was put on in Washington is a big reason people don't vote. Elected politicians will subvert justice and run along party lines. The truth isn't even a consideration. Yeah, and and I'd like to say that. I'd like to say, yeah, absolutely. I know what you're talking about, but I also like to say this is the first time I've ever seen it this bad. Now, granted, I've been into social issues, social justice, much more than politics, but I've never seen it like this, where we've never had a supposed trial or an impeachment where there's no witnesses, no paperwork, I mean, this is insane in the history of our nation. This was a sham job. And so I think maybe over time people might, I'd be surprised if it was just this, and I'm not sure if that's what you're saying. I don't want to misrepresent you. If it was just this that stopped people voting, but there are a lot of disgruntled people, I think maybe over time, that have just said, you know what, my voice does not matter. And for the most part, look where we are. They probably be close to right. But right now, I know this sounds silly, but if you think of Horton Hears a Who, I don't know if you know Dr. Seuss's book from when you're a little kid or from your children or whatever, but now's the time for people who are shirking to get off their asses and say, you know what, we need everybody's voice. Because even if we have everybody's voice, there's a good chance we'll fail. But this isn't just about Republicans and Democrats and all that. This is about our Constitution. Our democratic republic counts on this bedrock called our Constitution, and it's being circumvented and destroyed. And the power grab, it doesn't take much, apparently, from what we've seen, to skew the power to the point where the executive branch is a dictator. And I think that's, if we're not there, that's where we're headed. And that's my personal layperson opinion. This is following suit to the end of our democratic republic, and people just aren't stepping up to the plate. It's the people who are doing nothing. Those are the people who I am just appalled at. Ignorance isn't an excuse anymore. We have this really cool thing called the internet, which is a curse and a really cool thing all in one. If you want to find out information that's true, you will. If you want to know, we have great communication technology. If you're willing to put in the time and dig and find out the truth. And I keep going. I'm blabbing on and on. But I love all the comments. I cannot thank you enough for all this. If you want the number to call in, please go on my Facebook page called Angry Soccer Mom and personal message me, and I'll check you out and see if you're one of the non-troll people. And if you are, I will absolutely give you the number. And don't try to trick me. Just kidding. I will not be fooled. Let me keep going here. Michael, awesome comment. Thank you so much. David, there's a terrorist group there, but we have a much more dangerous terror group in the United States. The terror group is called the Trump administration. Absolutely. In fact, Dave, I did a video, a crazy lunatic rant. A crazy lunatic rant. I mean, it's probably the craziest. I even think I was crazy, but I was so pissed about, I'm not worried about terrorists from other countries coming in. I'm worried about Trump. Look it up. You'll be like, yeah, she's a psycho. But I was speaking from the heart. And when I speak from the heart, I mean, I always try to speak from the heart. Let's just say it got a little nuts. It wasn't a pretty sight, but I meant every word. But I have to say I was kind of embarrassed. So check it out. It's exactly what you're talking about, Dave. Thank you so much for your great comments. Boss Hog, I love how you talk, Mommy. You're so sure of yourself. Well, I don't know if I'm sure of myself, but thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. I definitely am open to suggestions and my opinions morph as time goes on, as I learn more. I'm not all-knowing. I'm an expert in absolutely nothing, but extremely interested in everything. So, and I care tremendously for my fellow humans. So I hope that shows through in everything I say. I'm not always right. I make mistakes, but that's part of being human. And I want people to see the average person, somebody like me, talking about these important and very, very emotional topics. So thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. And King Eric, I'm bowing down to you. Thank you so much. That's a really sweet compliment. Let me move on. Let me see. The DNC and the powers that be support. Okay, so he's boss. You are responding to somebody else. I see that. Michael, there's an article circulating called U.S. Dependence on China for Medicine is a Major Problem. Oh, that's a long title. Sounds like something I would put for a title. China supplies the U.S. with virtually all of our generic drugs, with the coronavirus closing down China. Yeah. So you're probably referring to what I was talking about earlier. I have a lot of people I work with in China, and they are telling me it's like a ghost town in a lot of places, and it's really scary what's going on. So yeah, that's a great point. And I don't know that our government is really watching over that kind of thing. I don't trust some of the people who are in the positions that Trump's put people to be even paying attention. I'll definitely have to look into that. Let me see. Michael, we will run out soon. That's an interesting point. Wow, you have some really good, it's just too much to cover. There's too much information to cover to learn it all. That's why I count on everybody to just keep adding to it. That's a great point. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Leslie, hello. Yay, I'm so happy you're here. Kitchen politics. Oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure you're still here or not. I'm here, just finished work. What's the phone number so I can call? I can't say it out loud because there are certain trollish type people, not you, of course. We're calling in and being kind of nuts. So I put it on I texted it to you. So go look. I texted it to you. If you have something to say, I would love to have you call in. Oh, I have 20% energy on my phone. Wah. Bummer. Okay, well, hopefully you can plug it in or do what you need to do. Dave Farley, I think the gentleman who just called made some good points. Democrats have to win the Electoral College, and we need to retake the Senate. Biden might be a safe choice. I'm more liberal than he, but the election is about beating Trump and winning in purple and red states. Not sure if someone too far left would win some of the states like Ohio, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. I don't know either. We're going to find out. Tim, I want to expand on this. What's the number? Tim, you got to get the number for me. I apologize. Get the number from me and go onto my Facebook page, Angry Soccer Mom. Write to me and I will check you out and get you the number, okay? And unfortunately, the only reason I'm doing this, normally we'll have a number and I'll have people. I haven't quite got it set up yet. And we had hundreds and hundreds of trolls coming on to the last couple of shows. So I'm kind of being careful. I know that's no fun, but bear with me, okay? I'll get things going. Let me see. Gary, Warren, yes. Sanders, no way. I know too many moderates that will not vote for him. As many as the only Bernie bunch. Interesting. So Gary, you're saying you don't think he can do it because he's too extreme. All he did was use the word socialist and didn't explain it. I swear I remember the moment he did that years ago, and I was like, it's over. You can't say that word to the American public, and this is just my opinion, Gary, and not first explain it thoroughly. People think Norway, Sweden, Denmark, okay. You know, they get nuts. They think, is that communism? Wait, what is that? We're just not an educated populace enough. They don't understand. We have socialist programs right now. What do you think your roads and hospitals are? What do you think your libraries are? They don't know. They don't get it. Also, a lot of folks in America, I'm not trying to bash America, but we got to educate ourselves. We don't travel. I'm one of the most guilty parties of that. And thank God I'm actually starting to be able to do something like that. We don't travel. We don't read. We don't look around and see other people. Other countries have universal health insurance. Other countries aren't struggling like we are. I mean, some are, but a lot aren't. Other countries don't have the maternal death rate we have. And it's way worse for non-white moms that give birth. We aren't doing well. We aren't winning. We're certainly not great. I think we could be. We've been given this gift of a constitution, no matter what you think of the founding fathers, okay? And their personal inability to live up to humane standards. They wrote our constitution to change and grow over time, and it's a gift. And it's all we have right now. We don't have any other choice, but it's being circumvented and destroyed. And the balance of power is no longer. The executive branch has gone nuts, and it could be the end. I don't know. Let me keep ranting and raving. Gary, great points. Thank you so much. Let me see. Bernie Warren, 2020 all the way. That's the number so I can, what's the number so I can call? I know you have to look it up. I'm so sorry. Leslie Less, can Buttigieg be president of the United States? I say no. I say no because he has to deal with the countries that are totally against homosexuality. Some countries kill their people. He is the smartest. Great points. Point well taken. Kitchen politics. What's the fun? Kitchen politics. He asked it like 50 times. Tim, can we discuss the USS Liberty? You can, if you know what, if you want to bring that up tomorrow, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. That's tomorrow's live show is a little bit different. It's not on a specific topic. It's on your choice, your voice. Bring it on. Any topic has to do with inequality, bigotry, systemic racism, anything is fair game. And so if I don't know about it and you do, then you get to bring the information to us and we will vet it out as we speak. Okay? I would love that. It's tomorrow, same time, same channel. Eric, if both parties were not such horrible messes and a decent moderate candidate ran, Trump would likely lose. Too many people are single issue voters. Yeah, great point, Eric. We can't be single issue voters. My single issue is getting Trump the hell out of the White House and take his nasty Klan with him. And I am not saying that lightly. I truly believe they are Klan. Okay. I believe, and you've heard it before from me, and I'll say it again. Trump is the de facto modern leader of, modern, of the Ku Klux Klan and what is now considered, not just in America, the world. The world is watching. He doesn't get his name in those manifestos of people who murder for nothing. He doesn't have to say he is to be it. That's how he's seen. And it's disgusting. Tim says, this guy is a fool. I'm not sure who you're referring to, but maybe you're talking about Trump. I don't know. Let me see. Eric, Gary, most of those leaders you talk about work with the countries that are prejudiced like the U.S. does. Okay, so maybe it won't be a problem. Let's hope so. Tim, as it should be. Eric, it's mostly just other countries think the U.S. is weak. Sacrilege, even more degenerate and gone, swaying their opinion and prospects when they will work with the U.S. Prospects, and maybe then they will work with the U.S. I'm not 100% sure if I'm reading that right, Eric. I don't want to misrepresent you. Yeah. Our reputation's quite gone quite downhill, and deservedly so. Deservedly so. That's for sure. And we can talk a lot about that tomorrow. Eric, like how China treated Obama. They snubbed him because they're racist and snubbed our country as a result. China has some serious racism problems. I am incredibly aware of that personally, because I work for a company. I work for a Chinese company, just to tell people a little bit of my, I haven't always, but that's what I do now. Work for a company in China, and they have some issues just like we do, not the same, but it's a really tough. The most educated folks there are just like the most educated folks here, in that they don't quite have as much of the racist problem, but it's, it's kind of scary. This racist stuff, it's not just in America, as we all know, it's everywhere. And I did not realize that they did that to him. I'm not doubting it. I'm really not. I don't know the details, but thank you for shedding some light on that. I actually might need to look into that further on a personal level. I want to know what, a little bit more. Eric, Israel was a mistake and a poor decision. It has likely caused more conflict creating that nation than leaving it to the people who lived there previously. That is Eric's opinion, and I know a lot of people will agree with you, and a lot of people won't. That's definitely a huge point. Pat, oh my goodness, I am so excited to have you here if you're still here. Let me just run down this. I know I'm keeping everyone up late. I just want to get to all the comments. I can. Dave Farley, another senior who can be beaten is Joni Ernst in Iowa, aka the pig lady. She was a pig farmer before she got elected to the Senate. I think if we could just somehow turn the Senate, if we could just, oh gosh, I have all these hopes and everything, and I don't know. Not enough people are caring. If every person in America who gave a shit, sorry, the vile language, but hey, would get 1 or 2 people to care, just 1 or 2 people, it would make all the difference in the world. I think we're tired. We're exhausted. We've been beaten down by this guy at every turn. There's not enough people who care. We need people to give a shit. This is not about politics anymore. This is about our nation remaining a democratic republic. Okay? The power grab Trump has done has set a precedent for him and everyone else. If there is gonna be an everyone else, it might be too late. So I think we're in so much more trouble than most people realize. Personally, that's just my personal opinion. let me see. Eric, Obama did the same thing with the U.S. civilians. Bush did screwy shit too. Now we have issues. We have a lot of issues. Eric, they don't want to push issues too much because when they are in, they know it will happen to them. Try to elaborate. I know I'm very behind on the comments, and I apologize. Eric's got a lot to say. Oh my goodness, Eric's got a lot to say, and I'm very happy for it. Okay, let me just. Okay. Goodness gracious. Let me see here. Scrolling. Eric, I don't think Hunting Biden would have stopped doing what he was doing if he was innocent. Not 100% sure what you mean. For me, Eric, to be completely blunt, Hunter Biden is a non-issue. He isn't the one getting impeached. He has nothing to do with it. That was already gone over, taken care of. It's just another one of Trump's ways to divert the issue. I could give a shit about Hunter Biden, no offense. I mean, as a human, I could, but what he did, talk about nepotism, talk about obnoxiously circumventing the spirit of the Constitution, that your personal interests as a president and your family shouldn't be. I mean, do I really need to go on about, I don't. It'd be off subject, but Trump really doesn't have a pinky to stand on with that. The whole thing's unbelievable. Almost like everything Trump says about other people is actually, he's talking about himself, as far as I'm concerned, because that man is something else, very mentally ill, in my humble opinion. But, great points, and I'm reading them all. Let me see. Okay. Thank you so much to the monitors who are doing a fantastic job, it looks like. Let me see. If you want the number, personal message me on my Facebook page, Angry Soccer Mom, and I will check you out and give it to you. Okay. Pat, don't forget, Argentina is the whitest place on earth, and we know why. And that's something maybe we can talk about tomorrow, because I think the article I got was from you, actually, Pat, and I can thank you very much for that, on the genocide, to make Argentina a white place. And maybe that'll be one of the topics I might bring up if there's time tomorrow on tomorrow's show. England is deporting Black people? Pat, tell me more. Did not know that. Never heard of that. Pat says, white people are running scared now. They know there's a shift in power, so they want to place all these laws in place so it will protect them. Yeah, you know, I know that what you're talking about, Pat, there is a shift in the demographics, that people are getting browner. Less white babies are being born, and more people who are Black, brown, indigenous, Israelites, Hebrew, all this. And by a certain date, white folks in America will not be the numerical majority group. And I think that's what you're referring to. And I think there is a certain part of the population that's absolutely extremely racist and extremely afraid of that. Definitely not everybody. A lot of the white folks have just learned about that, and they're like, oh, okay, whatever. It's a mixed bag. But the fact is, we have never faced and taken responsibility for our racial history and the history which is still happening now. So we are way behind the times with regards to facing, coming together, and talking about our real racial history, not the whitewashed history. Talking about white folks does not mean you're racist. It does not mean you hate white people. In my case, I talk about white folks all the time. It's because I know we can do better. I believe in white people. I believe in brown people. I believe in black people. I believe in all people. Okay. But white folks caused this, not us personally. And it's way past time that we took some responsibility, personal responsibility, to end the systemic racism. No amount of money given to anybody will stop systemic racism. It must be dismantled. All right. I'm not here to share my opinion on reparations because it's not my place. But I am here to say systemic racism was started by white folks. It's a fact. It's a historical fact. It's not blaming. It's a neutral fact because it's part of history. And it would be really nice if we helped out and supported all the other people to give them the equity that we speak of, when we speak of America, liberty, and justice for all, that we all have here. We're supposed to have, but we don't all have it. So it doesn't mean, and I saw somebody's comment about talking about white folks means you hate them. Well, it's a little bit short-sighted. Talking about white folks is simply a way to differentiate them. No hate. No hate. I mean, I don't, but I am disappointed in a certain grouping within white folks. But here's what I always say in this regard. Would you walk by somebody drowning in a pool slowly because you didn't shove them in? Of course not. Would you walk by somebody slowly drowning in a pool because you didn't build the stinking pool? Of course not. We didn't do this, but we are living here now witnessing systemic racism. Why wouldn't we jump in and help? Why? Why not? It's not an inevitable part of American society. It's part of our culture now. It doesn't have to be. Think of how much better off we'd be if we would just fess up to our past and just try to work together. So I'm blabbing as usual. So Pat, I don't know if all white people are running scared, but I know a certain segment that are very vocal are, and that has to do a lot with Jane Elliott believes that's why the strong abortion laws are all coming into play, because white babies are apparently aborted at a higher rate than other babies. And her theory is that people want to literally stop white people from having abortions. So we'll have children, so it'll put off the time when our country is no longer a white numerical majority. The whole idea of all this is freaking ludicrous to me. White, brown, tan, medium, black, we are all humans. We are all of the same race. The whole supremacy myth and this BS is just ludicrous. And we need to grow the hell up and get a life. Let me see here. Race is a human construct. Look into the Human Genome Project. If you don't believe me, don't believe me. Do your own research. Look it up. Okay, a couple more comments, and then I'm going to save my stuff for tomorrow because it is getting late, and I'm so appreciative of everybody being here. Oh, I wanted to jump in. I have on my Facebook, and I'll be posting it again and passing it around. I have a friend who's struggling right now very much. He is an incredible man, and he needs, I started a GoFundMe for him. And I really, really hope if you do have $1, $2, $5, you can add to the GoFundMe. I rarely do this, but when I do, I am absolutely serious about the person that needs help. And this is an incredible person. And if there's any way you can add to the GoFundMe, even $1, I will be very thankful, and I know he will too. So you can see that on my Facebook page called Angry Soccer Mom. And I'm going to repost it again. It's at the top. All right. So ask me about that if you're interested. And Crosatiel, and I know I'm pronouncing your name wrong, and I apologize. Look up Stephen Decatur. I'll go back and look that up. It is a biological fact. I missed the actual point you made to start with, so I'm kind of missing the premise to what you are talking about. But I will definitely figure it out fast enough. Let me go through a couple more. Millions of years in group preference in social animals. Not sure what you're saying, only because I've obviously missed something. Do you know our past though? Do you understand the system of indentured servitude? I'm not sure if you're talking to me. I understand indentured servitude. Yes, I do. Kim, you don't have to hate anyone just because you speak the truth. And I say you as universal you. Yeah. No. People who talk about you just hate all whites. Well, that's a really nice thing to say, but it's kind of a lame excuse. It's basically a person who doesn't want to think about a painful truth. It's thinking is hard. It hurts. I mean, it's not easy, but we got to do it. And sometimes there's some guilt involved, or it's not about us. Okay, it's not about us. So I'm not sure what else to say. I have a ton of stuff to share that I did not share about the candidates. Just some generic stuff, talking about who's who and what's what, and some funny facts, and I'm gonna have to save them for next time. Andrew Yang did say he was gonna drop out. He gave a lovely speech tonight. He is the person who got universal income on the table and people talking about it, and I appreciate that very much. Crosatiel, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right. Ask me more specifically. I'm not sure what you mean. Legitimate individual thoughts, snark. Like, be more specific and maybe elaborate on that if you're talking to me or somebody else on there. And I will be happy to answer. But I think for now, I'm going to say good night. And thank you, Gary, for being here. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Crosatiel. If I'm messing up your name, please don't hate on me for it. Nails and Glitter, thank you. Being grifted out of your survival instincts, okay? You and I need to chat. You're funny. Let me see. Thank you so much for everyone being here. And I'll be here tomorrow night, and it'll be your choice of topics, your voice, or me blabbing what you have to say. Anything about racism, bigotry, and inequality. If you're new tonight and you're curious about what my YouTube channel is all about, please consider subscribing. I have videos that are rants. I have videos that are sweet, darling educational experiences. I have videos that are obnoxious. I have videos that are not obnoxious. You name it, I have it. I have something for everybody. I talk about all the topics that we've been discussing and so much more. I have videos on common sense gun laws. I have videos on systemic racism and teaching the basics, anti-racism, anti-bigotry. Let me see, what else do I have? Oh, death penalty information and rants. And so please check out all my videos and consider subscribing to my channel and ring the bell if you want new videos. I just put out a video today on some pretty tough stuff that's going on right now that we all need to be interested in. Unfortunately, the Republicans are spending their money sending out fake census reports to people, and people are falling for them. And watch the video. You're not going to believe that. Talk about the depths of low. It's not good. So I will say good night, and thank you so much, everybody, in your support. If you want the telephone number, you got to beg it. No, you have to go to my Facebook. Go to my Facebook, Angry Soccer Mom, and personal message me, and I will give it to you, probably. Okay? After I check you out. So good night, everybody. And I hope I see you tomorrow where it's open topic. All right. So I will see you tomorrow at the same YouTube channel, Angry Soccer Mom. And I'm not even that angry. I'm just more hurt and very disappointed. And my kids don't even play soccer. So there we are. Thanks for being here. Good night, everybody. I appreciate you all very much. All right. And Crosekio, PM me. We need to chat. All right. Good night. Thanks, everybody.